Hi, everyone. Welcome to day 25 of Tiny Towns at High Noon. Today, we're going to be playing with a fortune setup, which I'll get to in just a moment. But first, let's go over who we have joining us. We've got Vlad on tech, as always.
Hi, everyone.
We have Josh Wood.
Woohoo! Wearing the cat lady tie today.
Nice.
Ryan Dancy in his hard hat.
Hello.
Luke Peterschmidt.
Oh, we just dropped.
He's vanished.
Oh,
He'll return soon, I'm hoping. And then our guest for today, Suzanne.
Hello. I
Thanks
didn't
so
get
much
the suit jacket memo. I'm sorry. I feel incredibly underdressed.
We keep doing this to people. It's unfortunate. Yes, it's Formal Friday for AEG. We dress up on Fridays because why not?
I think that is a lovely concept. Again, I just didn't get the memo, boys. So go on.
Apologies
That's
for-
my fault, and I need to add that to the document.
You
We're
do. So
working on that.
it's Flannel Friday for me here.
Okay.
Flannel Friday.
Flannel Friday. You're,
I support that.
Great. All right, and in the chat, I see we've got David Bauer, who's joining us yet again, his 25th consecutive day. So thanks again for joining. We've got Michael Borden. We've got Julian Thomas saying hi to Suzanne. And if you like, please take the time to like and share the stream just to get as many people in the loop as possible and to get this game out there. So, Josh, do you want to go over our setup today and then maybe tell people how Fortune works?
Absolutely. So we're playing with the cottage, as always. The theater. The root cellar. The tavern. The abbey. The museum. And the fountain. Today we are playing with Fortune. If you do not own Fortune, just grab some coins and take a look at the cards that are on the screen. I don't remember which way I need to point for that. I think this way. You can just play along. Remember, you can only have 4 coins at any one time, unless your monument has this little half coin space that will allow you to have another slot. You get coins. Sometimes by constructing buildings, both the root cellar and the museum give you opportunities to gain coins. But the main way you're going to gain coins is by building 2 buildings at once. If on a single turn you build 2 buildings, you'll receive a coin at the end of that turn. But remember, all unspent coins are worth 1 point. But whenever a card is dealt from the deck and you're like, ooh, I don't want to place that wood, you can spend a coin and change that resource. But watch out today. We're playing with the root cellar, and you're going to want to save a couple of coins to be able to feed those cottages at the end of the game.
Do you want to talk briefly about how the root cellar works specifically?
Yes, I'll go over the 2 fortune cards. The root cellar, when you construct it, you will gain a coin. And then it feeds any number of cottages in a single row or column for 1 coin each. So if I had all my cottages in 1 column, I could pay 1 coin and feed all of those cottages. If I had some also in this row, I would have to pay 2 coins to feed all of this and all those. The museum, when you construct it, you place 2 resources on it. When the deck calls one of the resources that are on that museum, you can physically remove that cube, toss it aside, and not have to place that resource, and instead you will gain a coin.
Alrighty, so and everyone should have 2 monuments set aside for themselves. Draw those from the deck. Just remember to take out the Opalized Watch and Starloom monuments. And if you want, you could just choose from the Fortune monuments for today, shuffle those up, deal yourself 2, and then pick one of the 2 monuments you've dealt to yourself to go for the day.
Pete, I have a question from Julian Lehner. Just to clarify for Fort Ironwood, I skip player's choice once I built it?
That is correct. That's how Fort Ironweed works. I wish you the best of luck with Fort Ironweed. I think it's always a little more feasible in Fortune days, but always a valiant effort to go for 4 ironweed. So the first resource we have is wheat.
Eat.
Eat. Oh my!
I have not thought of my strategy. Julian says, so you can only do that twice per museum. Yeah, so a museum has 2 total uses, but it's pretty nice because it means that there's 2 resources you don't get to place, and you'll get 2 coins, so you get to place 2 new resources. It's a good deal.
Oh, this
So good that I'm going to start building one.
Who names these cards? I gotta know who named Estival Festival.
Did I name that one, Josh?
Estival Festival had to be Peter.
Yeah.
Pete is a he is a
Troublemaker.
He's a more well-read man than me, and so he would have a word like Estival Festival. And in fact, I actually know 100% that was him because I actually fought against that one a little bit. I remember thinking like that will sound a little cheesy and silly, and then
I think
he was
you came
really
around to it.
about it.
You warmed up to it.
Well, yes, because Pete has this great. Pete has just like a great smile and like disposition that if he just asks you enough, he just can't say no. You can be like, no, let's maybe think of something different, and then he'd be like, no, we should do it. It's so great. And then you go, fine, Pete. Suzanne's going to complain about it on the live show, though.
All right. After that wheat is a wood.
Alrighty.
So, what do you say, Pete? Did you shuffle the deck, or we're going to have the same situation as yesterday?
Right?
This deck is just all wheat and wood, the entire deck.
Vladimir's dragging you already. I like it.
That would be a lot like yesterday.
Yeah. Yesterday was
We
something.
have a weird day with the resources yesterday.
It's because Josh was calling. After that wood is player's choice.
Player's choice. Well, it's nice to have that nice and early when I really have no idea what I want.
Yep.
That's great.
Oh, Luke is back.
I made it. Yes,
Okay.
Healing microphone.
So, Luke, so far we have had.
I got him. I'm good.
You got him. Oh, all right.
Perfect.
Okay, and after player's choice is another wheat. I told you guys the deck was nothing but wheat and wood. I was kidding, but who knows what the deck has in store for us.
Come on, wood. Come on, wood.
So, Suzanne, do you want to tell everyone a bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, my name is Suzanne Sheldon, and I am trying to figure out where to put this wheat that I don't really want right now. I am probably decently well known for being one of the co-hosts of the Dice Tower podcast about board games and card games and the people who play games. I do video content for the Dice Tower on YouTube and have for six plus years now. I've done a lot of coverage of Kickstarter and a lot of coverage of digital board games. I like to think I'm the hipster, which is really funny for like a middle-aged soccer mom, of digital board games, because I've been covering board game apps and digital board games for also 6+ years. So that's probably where most people know me from.
Awesome. I'm going to give everyone a glass really quick. Switch it up a little bit.
I'm also very well known for being very bad at tiny towns and for trying to take over Pete's demos at conventions of tiny towns and elbowing them out of the way.
Your name is first on my list to send that copy of Cubidos. You're like the first row.
It's funny because I was joking about stealing the prototype. Okay, that was glass, right? It got done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was joking about, I was saying, I'm going to steal the prototype. And I think that John thought I was joking, but I was really only 25% joking. And if the opportunity presented itself, I'm just saying I'm not above certain bad acts.
There was a reasonable thing to draw people's eyes. If there was a decent enough distraction, you would have done it.
I'm only human, and I really like the game.
Julian in the chat is asking if you can place the same resource twice on museum. You absolutely can. That's usually what I do with it.
Ooh, interesting.
And after that glass is another player's choice.
So, Josh, you have been winning most of our games, so I will ask you: can you tell us what are some basic strategy tips to increase your score on Tiny Towns?
Don't let Josh draw.
I think there's just a couple of things that people need to keep in mind. Build on the edges early. Know what you're doing every single time you place a cube. Like, know what that cube is going to eventually turn into, and also where that building is going to go. And then sort of my new, people who've been watching a lot have definitely heard a lot of my strategy tips. Here's like a new one. Thinking about your last 4 spaces is key. Think about what your last 4 empty spaces are going to be. So then you know what your 4 big building could be in there, or your 3 big building could be in there, and then how you're going to build your little 2 like fountains, like in this game, like where you're going to put those buildings. That's sort of like a really advanced strategy tip. Another thing, obviously, which is really good, is just think about what resources are going to be problematic, and then also which ones you're going to need a lot of. I think those are the sort of the big core things to keep in mind.
The next resource is another wheat. I'm sorry, everyone.
Boy, it sure would be nice if I had a coin right now.
Yep.
I forgive you, question mark?
So, Suzanne, you posted a few lists on Twitter of various sales on digital apps. I just picked up Isle of Skye a little while ago thanks to those lists. So,
great. That's awesome.
That's been super helpful in this quarantined time. So I really appreciate that. Yeah,
digital board games are a great way to kind of get your fix when you aren't necessarily optimally set up for your regular kind of gaming situation. I know I've played Cat Lady. I actually taught my kids Cat Lady through the app first and then translated those skills into the physical game. And that worked out really, really well for us. Boy, I sure would love to do that with Tiny Towns.
Me too. We will see. After that, wheat is a glass.
There is stone in this deck, correct?
Nope, no promises. It could have been burned. We always burn 5 cards, so...
Yesterday, we played 3 rounds without a single stone, Suzanne. So, we don't know.
Wow.
Wait, do I get to surrender now? This is terrible. This is really, really bad. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit exciting here.
I love Josh's all like, build on the edge. Know what that cube's gonna be for. Think about your 4 buildings. And I'm like, crap. I'll just put it here. Why not?
You're like, I just want to build something.
Just anything.
After that glass is player's choice.
Okay, there's...
Thank God. Finally, the museum gets constructed.
Yeah, I'm working on mine. I'm making a tavern and then my monument. I'm trying Josh's strategy with this monument. I've made the pedal promenade, which means I have to lay down some coins, which will dictate where the next resources from the deck go.
Wait, I have a couple of newcomers that just arrived to the other chats. Can you tell them about the root cellar and the museum again, please? Sorry about that.
Sure. Yeah, so the root cellar is the building that feeds cottages this round. And when you build it, you gain a coin. At the end of the game, it will feed rows and columns of cottages for 1 coin per row and column. So if you keep all your cottages in like 1 or 2 rows and columns, then you only need to pay 1 or 2 coins to feed them all at the end. And then the museum is the black building. And when you build it, you put 2 resources of your choice on it, like so. And then whenever either of those resources come up from the deck, you have the option of, instead of placing one of those resources, you can remove it physically from your museum, set it aside, and you gain a coin when you do so. So not only do you not have to place those resources, but it gives you a coin to change a future resource. And the 2 resources on museum can be different or the same. So if you're just joining, you can either go by the resources that are currently on the screen and start playing from there, going left to right, or you could just start right now with a clean board. You can sort of jump in at any time.
I would opt for that right now.
Yes, is that an option?
Yeah,
that's a better option.
Option 2, please.
Rough. Yep.
Can I just flip my board?
Yeah.
How risky am I going to be? Not too risky.
You know, that's
Nah,
really
let's do
nice
it. What's the
that you
worst that
can
can
just jump and play at any
You
point.
can, yeah. You really
Type
can
of
start
game.
whenever.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
exactly right.
sometimes when
The
I'm
last one
demoing
you
at
pulled-
conventions,
The last
sorry,
one you pulled
Suzanne.
was just a player's choice, right?
it was
Yes.
dealer's choice. Yes.
Great.
And that was
Okay,
a stone.
And following that dealer's choice is wood.
Huh.
Okay, so if I complete 2 buildings right now, I get a coin, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
All right.
Yep.
So I am completing a theater and I am completing a cottage.
Nice.
Now you have a precious coin. Earning money is difficult in the world of Tiny Toons.
Yep. All right. After that, wood is, oh my gosh, it's a stone.
Woo!
First
okay with that.
stone. Yay.
It exists. It's
It
real.
exists.
I'm so excited.
Am I really going to have to pay a coin right now? I think I might.
Okay, I'll put the stone there.
I haven't built a single building yet.
I haven't seen a brick yet, have we?
No.
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 Oh, I placed one for.
So Michael is saying that every call is followed by an irritated sight from his wife.
Right.
I'll
What
try to do
are
better.
you building?
That's everyone.
That's everyone.
That's how you know Tiny Towns is working.
All right. The next resource is player's choice.
Woohoo! Okay, I'm gonna
There,
build 2 things at once.
grab that.
I'm building my monument, which is Katarina's Corrado, and I am building the root cellar. I will say my favorite moment in all of Tiny Towns was when we played the huge game of it.
Gen Con.
And we had how many do we have, Brian?
Roughly 1,000 people.
Roughly 1,000 people, and
Yep.
I can't remember. It was glass, right? That wasn't being called, and then Pete just held up this big glass card, and just hearing 1,000 people just go, "Yeah!"
It was wild. Yeah, I think we went through maybe the first 2 runs of the deck, I want to say, or at least it was at the very end of the second run of the deck or something. The next resource is going to be a stone.
Let me see if
Ooh.
I can find a picture of that, and I will share it with the audience.
Yeah, that was great.
I have to say how much we really appreciate you participating in those events and going to shows and doing that stuff. It's really awesome.
Oh yeah, it's the dream. I mean, I never would have guessed I could play Tiny Towns with 1,000 people. It was just wild for me. I mean, I remember the very first time we did a playtest over Skype with the AEG crew. That was cool for me. Just like, oh my gosh, there's like 8 people playing my little board game that I made. So to scale that up to 1,000 it was really surreal, super surreal.
It is weird to me when there are designers who are like, I don't need to be involved. And I'm like, how can you not want to be involved?
Oh, 100%.
So fun.
Yeah.
Next up is a wood.
All right, come on.
Ooh, so we got
When you
wood
say
stone,
wood.
player's choice, stone wood, player's choice, correct?
Yes, that is correct. It's been a bit repetitive this round.
Okay. I'm going to save my root cellar because if I build another building with my root cellar, I get 2 coins, correct?
Yes.
Yep, exactly.
All right, I got a plan. Make it happen. I'm holding you
Suzanne,
accountable,
did
Pete.
So, Suzanne, did you hear the recent awesome news about The Last Airbender and Netflix?
Ooh, what happened?
No.
Just the original series is I think in early May streaming on Netflix, which
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome.
Yep. And then there's the new live action one, which I am personally really hopeful for, considering that one of the original creators is involved. What are your thoughts on that?
I have opinions about the supposed already existing live action one, but I think that one's only a rumor. I've never seen it or heard of it in real life. I think it's fictitious. Yeah. No, I mean, absolutely. We're huge Airbender fans here, and I have everything on DVD, but it's so inconvenient to have to switch
I know.
DVDs.
I know. Same here. We
want-
have the whole series, but yep, I'm pretty excited for that.
And then I just want the setting on Netflix that says, "Don't ask me if I'm still watching. I'm still sitting here. Leave me alone."
Right. We need the pandemic button.
Yes, exactly.
And lastly is Player's Choice for the last call of the day.
Oh, heck yes! Oh, that was a good one. Oh, wait, no. Shoot. The museum's so big.
Yeah.
They typically are.
Ah. Got all excited.
Do we have any other Last Airbender fans on the stream or in the chat?
Oh, you
In the
have
movie,
a fan.
right?
You have this type of fan. Just give me one
Oh,
second.
boy.
Here he goes.
Vlad's leaving. We lost Vlad.
Vlad's going to
Vlad
have
is
some
such a
kind of
big fan.
memorabilia.
I don't even know what he's bringing back, but it's something that's going to prove his fandom.
Yep.
I
He's
see
gonna
that
wear, like, a
Amy,
headband or
Amy in the
headband.
chat was,
Oh,
oh, that's awesome. Unopened, of course.
Appa.
Yeah,
New in box.
I see that Amy in the chat is mentioning PAX Unplugged. I hope she was able to join. I think she was able to join the big game we did at PAX Unplugged. It wasn't quite 1,000 people, but it was at least, I would say, 200 or so. So
Yeah, it was 200. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, that's cool. Thanks for playing, Amy.
Yeah.
I'm
We're just going to keep. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm a huge fan of that show. I mean, it's sort of one of my favorite childhood shows, and I am extremely pumped for live action one.
Childhood shows.
It's a childhood show for you. You just made me feel so old. Oh my god.
I'm sorry. Oh, okay. So I was like a teenager when it came out, but I associate it with childhood times. I remember my younger brother was watching it, and I sort of like made fun of it because it looked a little cheesy. But I got sucked in from the first 2 episodes, and the rest is history.
So there's a new podcast called Cult Classic Callback. And it's a couple of my friends, and they grew up a kind of sheltered life. So they didn't see any of like the major pop culture beat movies or shows. And so the series is all about them. A plush Appa too. I love it, Vlad. It's gorgeous. The series is all about them finding somebody who loves a movie or a show, and then they watch it and then they talk about it. So they did like Rocky Horror Picture Show with Ivan Van Norman, and they did the Matrix series with Calvin Wong, and they did Xena Warrior Princess with me.
Ooh.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
But I'm watching it, and like I wrote a university paper on Xena Warrior Princess. Meanwhile, the hosts of this show, who are a little bit younger than me, are talking about how, like, yeah, they come home from school and have snack and watch Xena. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so old.
That's great.
So
All right,
thanks
next
for
we have
that, Pete.
Glass. On the first call from the deck.
Pete, there's no glass in a museum.
Yeah, I'm working on my own
Finally, the
museum.
museum has delivered the coin.
It's going okay. It's not going so great at all, actually. It's a bit terrible.
Yeah, I'm on the bit terrible track here.
Yep.
We're in good shape. Good shape.
Oh, should I just build that now and spend a coin? Nope, I'm gonna hold out. So Vlad, do you want to talk briefly about the smash up deal going on right now on the Alderac store?
Yeah, right now. Oh, Pete, Luke, you want to talk about that?
Oh, well, there's a great Smash Up deal in the store where if you buy a Smash Up, you get any expansion you want for free with free shipping for both of them. And if you like Istanbul, the Spiel des Jahres winner, we also have a deal where if you buy that or the big box version, you get a free copy of Istanbul Dice. Again, all free
Which is
shipping.
also a really good game.
Yes, that's a great game.
Does that smash up deal end today?
I think the Smash Up deal ends today.
Yeah, the
Yep.
Smash
Yeah.
deals end today.
I'm gonna give everyone a wood really quick.
yes.
Wow.
And I also
No.
want to mention Dead
No.
Reckoning.
Hmm.
No to the wood. Yeah, that's actually, I have no idea where this is gonna live. I'm gonna pay a coin. I'm not even gonna
Thomas is
not even
saying
gonna
Yeah,
ask
me
myself
too.
that
not
question.
Constantinople. How do you
Um,
Burning
pronounce
that
that in
coin.
English?
You got it right there.
Yeah,
Constantinople.
Constantinople.
Okay, in Spanish it's
Yep.
Constantinopla. It's pretty similar.
Ah.
Okay.
But yes, Dead Reckoning. When does that Kickstarter go live?
July. All your
So-
inspired, your swashbuckling fun right around the corner. And if you're a pirate, you can go, I don't know, maybe get some brick from something. Maybe some brick.
How about
Luke?
I'll give you
Tell 'em.
one better. Player's choice is after that wood.
Count that
Done.
as a brick.
All right, I am completing a museum and a root cellar.
Nice.
I'm
But-
doing a theater and a cottage right now.
Player's choice, right? Yes.
Yep. And I had built my root cellar wrong, so that's going to be a fun hole to dig myself out of. Oh boy.
So Suzanne, I don't want to brag, but I was the person who was spearheading you coming onto the show and joining us, because there's something that we have in common that I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
We both have large collections of board games from Asia, notably
Yes.
from Japan and Taiwan. I don't know what your collection said, but I someone asked me the other day, because I'm taking Japanese, and someone said, well, how many Japanese board games do you own? And I said, I probably own 20. And I was like, maybe I'll go out and like count them. I have 67 Japanese games.
Wow.
Like, not even like Yokohama that was brought to America, but just like ones that are produced and published in Japan. And I was way off, basically. So that's what
I'm going to give everyone a wheat really quick,
All right.
following that player's choice.
Wheat. Oh, wheat can be a thing, maybe.
I don't love this. Yeah,
What
I
happened?
don't count my games anymore. That seems like an unhealthy thing to do.
It's a fake choice. What happens if I have a full treasure chest and the museum would give me a coin?
You can still remove the resource and not place it, but you can't earn the coin.
Very good.
Oh, that's right. What do I didn't put my cubes on the museum.
Yeah, so just
You should do
choose 2 cubes you would like to not place in the future. They can be the same color or different, and put them on the museum.
Okay. I'm gonna say freaking wheat because
Yeah.
you seem to be the wheat man.
That's what I call them that's what I call them all the time. It's my nickname.
Man.
Hey,
After that wheat is a stone.
Okay. So Josh, I have what I've done in the past is I have a friend in Japan who helps me ship games from Tokyo Game Market. I order them online direct through the publisher through the Tokyo Game Market pre-order system, and then a friend picks them up and ships them back to me, which is amazing. But I can only guess on some of these games because I don't speak any of the relative languages. My French skills don't really help me in this situation. And so I go through the sites, I translate them through Google Translate, and I take my best guess onto what I could play. So I have over 20 games from Game Market that I've never been able to play because they don't exist in English in any way, shape, or form. And I misinterpreted the listings completely. That's how bad I am.
I have a couple of those. I was fortunate to go to Game Market 2 years ago.
Oh, so jealous.
I went with the owner of AEG, John Zinser, and that was before I was working for AEG. And and I went with them, and because I know, because I do kind of what you do, where I research a bunch of games, and AEG, we're always like looking to bring over games from licensing games from other countries.
I'm going to give everyone player's choice really quick.
Yep. And I gotta say, I had a blast there, but I definitely know I brought home even just some games from that show, and I was right there, and I made that mistake. Like I was like, I don't think you need that much, knowledge for that, and I was wrong.
It's so interesting that like a game is very much this physical thing, this physical product with pieces and whatnot, but the rules like unlock the experience. The experience does not exist without the rule set. I love any stories about ancient games where someone was able to crack how they were played.
Sure, that's amazing stuff.
Yeah, I find that so cool, so fascinating.
Yay, I got the picture of the
Okay,
thousand people playing Tiny Towns. It's gonna go
nice.
live on the screen.
Nice.
Nice.
All right, and next up is a brick, a rare brick.
Yay!
It's gonna be like the second one this game. Oh wait, we can see on the screen there. Is that the first brick this game?
Yes.
yeah.
I think it's the first official brick.
Yeah.
First official brick.
I definitely had to play some bricks, but
And I'm
I've
going
been
for a
dealer's
tavern
choicing.
strategy, so it has been a little sad.
Oh, yikes.
So Suzanne, in many ways, I really do recommend that you go to Game Market at some point because you would love it and you'd have a great time. But I also maybe wouldn't recommend it because I'm a little bit worried that you just would buy everything. And
Why are you being so judgmental
I'm
right
not
now?
being
Wow.
judgmental.
Gosh, come
I'm
on.
saying that I
did
just
another
don't want you to have to like deal with the stress of having to bring all those games back. Like I know your stories from like when you go to Essen and you and Mandy like cut the boxes down and like, I mean, that's like scary to me to like attempt to think about that. I have empty boxes that I'm like, I'll keep in my trunk because I don't want to like get rid of this box, even though it's an expansion box and I don't need it.
Absolutely one of my favorite experiences. I was being in the Dice Tower booth in Germany on the last day of Essen with a box knife and a stack of game boxes, just cutting the corners so that they would fit flat. I had to. I was out of space and I wasn't going to leave the games behind. You would think from the reactions of the people walking by who noticed what I was doing, you would think I
Oh
was
my
literally
gosh.
slaughtering puppies. Like
Yeah.
I might as well had a pile of puppies and kittens and a machete because people were just aghast. People took photos of it. It was just.
That's incredible. All right, we have another wheat, which
I could
hopefully-
stop that with my museum power.
I am putting a stop to that. Yeah, with my museum. Actually,
Yeah, I've got 2 museums
Yeah,
built,
yeah.
and I have 4 resources in it. So, like, I'm in good shape.
nice.
I only have to place the brick.
Sure, rub it in.
I might break
Yeah,
your score.
doing the
Ryan.
Josh Wood strategy.
I may have accidentally ensured I can never get my monument. I just
Oh, no.
realized that. Oh no.
That's unfortunate. Following that, wheat is going to be player's choice.
So we one of the things that AEG does at a lot of these shows is we take pitches from designers. Like Pete McPherson picked us Tiny Towns at PAX Unplugged a couple years ago. And recently we've had the opportunity to take those pitches in a room. We've either had a room on the show floor or we've had a very small hotel room nearby where we have the designers come and pitch to us. And we do a pitch every half hour, starting early in the morning and usually ending around dinner time. So over the course of a 4-day show, we might get over 100 game pitches. And inevitably, some of those designers will drop bits on the floor or leave things behind. And so I have this running joke that we're going to collect all the bits at the end of the show and then design a game based on what was left behind. Like it's kind of the like try to imagine how you play an ancient game that no one has the rules for. It's like,
Yeah.
Okay, some designers thought these bits were useful in a game. What game does that make?
That's funny.
My first time ever at Beach G-Con, they give away a lot of games, and they were giving away these components in like a bag about this size, and it was for a game.
I'm going to give everyone a wood really quick.
That's perfect. It was a game about cow tipping, if I remember, and you like flick these little wooden blocks, and so you can get one free copy when you go to there. But they try to get rid of them at the end of the show. People who didn't want that, and that wasn't a very popular game for people to pick up. So at the end, they're just trying to like give them away, and then like they're like, "Oh, do you want like another copy?" And I just asked them. I said, "How many can I take?" And this guy just had this box, this huge box of it, and just he had hundreds of them in there. Because I thought like to myself, like, "Oh, I'll use them for like prototyping." And I said, "How many can I have?" And he just handed me this large box. And so my last night, I was sitting on the floor barefoot, like in the hotel, like in the gaming room. Everyone was gaming, and I just was sorting them into different colored bags, everything like that. I had a great time, but people thought I would just, people probably thought I looked weird doing that.
All right, after that wood is another wood.
Ooh.
Peter, stop it, please.
I would like to stop it.
That is not bueno.
I'm building the village. I'm building the Irriflage Vineyard,
Ooh.
which is worth 9 points as long as I can keep other buildings out of its row or column, and I can feed it.
I'm making a theater and a tavern.
That's a good monument for the set because then you can just even get 7 points by just surrounding it with cottages, and then you'll just have to pay 2 coins to feed all those cottages and that monument.
Mm-hmm. All right. After that, wood is player's choice.
Okay. We can do this.
All right. I'm going to put a pop culture question out there. What is everyone's favorite Harry Potter book and movie? So 1 book and 1 movie. Suzanne, are you a Harry Potter fan?
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Favorite book and movie? I mean, there's only one answer for that. There's only one correct answer possible for that.
Ooh,
What is it?
Chamber of Secrets.
interesting.
For both. For both
So-
categories.
Wait, 1, 2, 3. Whatever the third one is. Is that Prisoner of Azkaban?
Oh, the third one, Prisoner of
Prisoner of
Azkaban.
Prisoner
Yeah.
of Azkaban. Yeah, I had it wrong.
Yeah.
Number 3. It's got to be number 3. Always number 3.
So
Yeah.
Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite movie, and then for my favorite book, it's a toss-up between 3 and 4.
4 is it's just something so classic about it. That's the one that it just has like the coziest feeling to it, except for the end where it gets a bit uncozy. But otherwise, it's just so festive.
Other than that,
Yeah,
Except for the murder of a child. Yeah, that was kind of a bummer.
that was a bummer.
I
So
agree
Amy
that the
says-
Cedric Diggory.
I agree that The Prisoner is the best book. About the movie, I think the only one that I can remember right now is the first one, and I have seen all of them a couple of times, but the first one is always present. I don't know why.
The third one is it's a really faithful adaptation, and it's
Yeah.
also the most stylistic of them. I believe that was when a new director stepped in. It just has
Oh, the
such a
third?
distinct
Yeah.
feel. Yeah.
yeah.
Next up, we have Glass. That
Oh,
movie
that's
is great,
good.
and I really enjoy time travel stuff, but I'm really picky about my time travel. Only certain types of time travel like work for me. And The Prisoner of Azkaban is like the definitive perfect time travel story to me. When Harry, I'm going to spoil The Prisoner of Azkaban, so
Ooh.
turn the volume down. if you-
Thanks, Pete.
But when Harry sees his future self thinking it's his father, and then turns out to be him when he time travels later on, I love that. I think that's such a cool moment. So yeah, I would probably say I think the third is my favorite movie, and I think the fourth is my favorite book, but the fifth book is close.
So Amy says The Goblet of Fire. Jessica says third book, first movie. Michael says Goblet of Fire for book. Alice says Philosopher's Stone is the most highly ranked one, I thought. That's probably because more people have read it. I think that's possible. Julian says sixth book, fourth movie. And then Heather says, I'm married to a Harry Potter freak, all in caps. Our first date was Harry Potter at Universal. He got his own private wand show after they had the other guests go into the gift shop. Okay.
Nice.
And then Jessica
After
says,
Glass, we have a brick. Sorry, go ahead, Josh.
Jessica says that she hates the third movie because it's so different from the book. I'm sorry, that was Glass, Peter?
That was brick. Brick was the most
then
recent
break,
call.
then player's choice.
Yes.
I wanted a brick more, so I'm okay.
So
I feel like
the interesting thing with the third movie is that is the time that they changed directors, and that the director of Prisoner of Azkaban was Alfonso Cuarón. And then after those movies, he went 10 Oscars with Gravity and Roma.
Yeah. So for me, I always think that, being faithful to a book or whatever the source material is always tough because it's two different mediums.
Yeah.
So sometimes if you're too faithful to the book, then like it makes for a bad film, right? And so I think that's how I would say that.
I'm going to give everyone player's choice really quick.
Oh, yeah. I'll take that.
So yesterday I was watching the masterclass of Neil Gaiman, and at some point he's telling the story of how he wrote Good Omens with Terry Pratchett. And he says that Terry Pratchett liked to have these moments on his books are called cigarettes, where at the end of the book everyone kind of finish all the plot holes, says goodbye to the audience and between themselves, and they can let go of the book. But when they started filming Good Omens, they couldn't do that because that will be 30 minutes of nothing happening on the last episodes of the series. And then he had to change the full plot at the end of that book to make sense for the series.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's like a good.
Yeah, it's a good example of what you're saying, Josh.
Yeah.
Well, so it's funny. Indy, my fiance, and I were talking the other day about how frustrating adaptations of books or other mediums can be. And for the fans, it can just be so perplexing why some things were altered. And in my opinion, movies that are unfaithful to the source material tend to perform not as good as ones that are extremely faithful. Like I think Life of Pi is a really faithful adaptation, or like Scott Pilgrim. Those are just like two, like almost to a T, perfect adaptations. And then ones like Great Gatsby. Okay, well that's tough because that was a popular film, but it wasn't super critically well received. And it took huge deviations from the book. So what are some examples, Josh, where you think...
Superman movie?
What's that? Yeah.
Superman? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what are some movies, Josh, where you think it was true to the book at the detriment of the quality of the movie?
Highlander 2.
I will tell you. I'll tell you two really good examples of where they change for the movie, and it's for the success. So one is Fight Club, and then
really quick.
And then the other would be Forrest Gump. I think, for instance, those are, in Forrest Gump, like I think he like goes to the moon and like plays like chess with an alien. I think that's like true. And even Jaws is not a good book. Die Hard.
I disagree with that. Jaws is a good book. I love Jaws.
You like the book?
I did like the book. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm sorry. The coin lets me change the color of a cube.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
You can, place a different color resource than what was called.
Okay.
So I want to tell you my story about Harry Potter and why I like the first book, but I'm going to let Pete do a resource.
Brick.
Ooh.
In the fall of 1997, my company was bought by Wizards of the Coast. And I moved and started working at Wizards of the Coast. And in late 1998, I was put in charge of the tabletop role-playing game division inside Wizards of the Coast. And one of the things we wanted to do was license in IP, intellectual property, that we could use to make role-playing games for a spectrum of people from age 6 to age 400. And I sent one of the people that I work with, Cindy Rice, to a licensing show that was being held in London that year. And she came back with 3 products that she thought would be a good license. And one of those products was a copy of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, which is what that book was called when it was first published. It wasn't the Sorcerer's Stone in its first printing.
I'm going to throw out a player's choice really quick.
Yep.
After that,
and we doubled down on that idea, and we started negotiating to license that product for role-playing games. And before that book was published in the United States. So we had a whole group of people inside Wizards of the Coast who were Harry Potter fans, essentially before anybody in the U.S. was. That was a surreal experience to see this little book that Cindy found at this like book licensing show become the biggest intellectual property since Star Wars. That was weird.
Yeah.
I hope that you guys got a good deal about that.
All right, next up we have a wheat.
To finish that story, unfortunately, we did not.
Oh.
We were able to negotiate those rights and got a relatively good deal. And in the year 2000, Hasbro purchased Wizards of the Coast. And Hasbro was the master toy licensee for Harry Potter. And so we actually thought we were in better shape than we were before, because our little role-playing game license could basically just go away, and we could use the Hasbro master toy license, and it would solve all kind of weird licensing problems. And that we made a Harry Potter role-playing game, and it went all the way through all approvals at Warner Brothers and was ready to go to print. And we got a letter from the Warner Brothers legal counsel telling us that J.K. Rowling had decided that nobody could put words in her characters' mouths except for her, and she would not approve the publication of the role-playing game. And the licensing team at Hasbro told us that per the terms of our contract, we could force her to do it, but that Hasbro was not going to force J.K. Rowling to do anything because the Harry Potter license was so important to Hasbro, and we just had to cancel the product.
Wow.
Yeah, that was painful.
Ooh. All right, next up we have a stone.
Ooh,
It's a resource
Nice.
I want, but not right now. I cannot put it where I would like to put it right now, which is painful.
Yeah.
Painful.
Fudgy duck. Ugh, this game.
Yeah. I'm right there with you.
Oh man, I think I
What are
have
you
to.
building?
Well, I built a fountain because I was gonna have no other option.
Yeah, that's what are you building is what Pete had this game named in prototype.
Yep.
What are you building?
What are you building?
It was also called Village Game for a long time.
Village game. Nice.
Village game.
Yeah.
And then you came up with Estival Festival. Look how far you've grown.
Got much more verbose. Okay, so another pop culture question. What is everyone's favorite season of Stranger Things?
It's got to be 1. 3 was just.
Yeah.
It's not a huge universe. It's only
Yeah,
3.
I agree with
It's only 3, but still, they're all so good, I think.
Oh,
And
Hmm.
I can understand arguments for anyone. I'm also
I
going to put out a player's choice really quick. Player's choice after that stone.
Oh, this is so ugly.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's number 1. After first season, they are just kind of trying to get it together,
Yeah.
expanding the theme, but it's not working.
Oh, really? For me, season 1 is my least favorite, and then season 2, and then season 3. I thought season 3, they just hit it out of the park in my book. I loved it.
So I have Alice saying 1, Amy saying 1, and Adam says all of them. So
so someday, Pete, when we're in a
just consistent.
post like being locked down time, and we're at a convention together,
Mhm.
I'll spend an hour and tell you why you're wrong.
Okay, I look forward to that. All right,
Place my
and
Gillish.
next
This
up-
is terrible. No, wait. I haven't done my choice yet. I'm sorry. This is really hard.
Okay,
This game has backed me into a corner, and I don't know what to do. I'm so scared. Oh no! I want to go back though. I try not to get super upset about adaptations or things like that because they are different mediums, and you're not in the writer's room. You don't know the many factors in play.
Mhm.
But I have not been so upset about an adaptation or news of an adaptation as I've been recently with the Artemis Fowl movie.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Artemis Fowl is a series of books, young adult children's books, and the main character is a bad guy. It's a young evil mastermind, and he's a bad guy. And it looks like in the movie they take that element away. And I'm like, that's the whole, like, that is the whole point. That is the
Yep.
whole character essence. The entire series and character development revolves around this little boy being like evil or the
Yep.
bad guy. And you can't, I'm hoping that the trailers and the news misinterprets it, but oh my gosh, I was like, why am I getting so upset about it? I'm like, this is just I don't know. All right,
Yeah,
now I'm
that's
ready for the
pretty
next one.
egregious.
I appreciate your passion.
Yeah, thanks.
Is everyone ready for the next call?
Yes.
Yep.
We are ready.
It is wheat, unfortunately. So that's coming off my bank.
Yeah, that feels like.
Okay. I am changing that to brick, and I'm double building an abbey.
So
And
we need to give a copy of Santa Monica away today, and I'm wondering if Luke can give us a question
Okay,
for
I'm
the
changing
chat.
it.
Oh, okay. I got a question for chat. I'll make it Santa Monica based. What is the road that terminates at the Santa Monica Pier?
Ooh,
oh, that is good trivia to know.
good question.
I should throw up the picture of me standing by the roadside because it's cool.
Ooh.
And while everyone's pondering that, I'll give you a stone.
Do not
Yeah, I don't
want.
love that stone. If I'm being like Blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not stone.
So I'm repeating the question. What is the name of the road that ends on the Santa Monica Pier, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
And it appears in the game.
Yes.
it is in the game, but not the road.
Is it Colorado Boulevard?
Well, Josh.
Nope. We have a correct answer though. Before that,
Oh.
Jay says Route 66.
Route
Hey!
66,
Oh,
all right.
America's Highway.
oh yeah, I didn't see it. Yep, Road 66.
Where you get your
Congratulations.
kicks.
Congratulations, Jade. We will contact you on Facebook and we'll ask you for some details and you will get your copy of Santa Monica.
Nice.
Oh,
And the next
really
call
fun game.
is Player's Choice. It is an awesome game.
What
If you
was
do the
after
Cannonball
Wheat?
Run, you end up on Santa Monica Pier
After
2.
Wheat was Stone, Vlad, and then Player's Choice.
I really like it. It's when I played it for the first time at Dice Tower West, and it was always out of the library because there's only one early copy there, and it was just constantly in rotation. And when I finally got a chance to sit down and play it, we were just, my friends and I who were playing, were just, this is so delightful. This game is just delightful. And then you get deeper in the game, and then you're swearing at the game because you're like, why are the meeples not going there? Where's it's really fun. And the art, the visual of it is just so great.
Yeah, I'm very happy with how it's turned out. But speaking from earlier, yeah, like, you know, I don't often name my games really early on in the process. So like for the longest time, I just called it like my beach game or whatever.
I'm going to put a Wheat out there for everyone. Another terrible Wheat. The third from this deck, so that's all we're going to see.
So Pete, I'm just gonna go back through all resources just to make sure that I have it right. Wood, brick, player's choice. Wheat, stones, player choice. Wheat, stone, player choice. Wheat.
That's correct.
Oof.
Wow. It's like a rhyme. It's like a haiku.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and after that Wheat is a brick. Which is not
I've been helpful earlier in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you know what? I can use that.
Oh, no, that's a cube, not a fountain. Okay, well, I think my game's over, personally, so I've got 3 isolated empty squares.
And we're starting to get results
no.
from the chat. Alice is out, and Adam is out with 30 points.
nice.
This is that they're waiting for the expansion Venice Beach. If I do an expansion, I might call it Venice Beach. But it's a little weird. There are famous Venice Beach landmarks actually, like in Santa Monica, like the skate park and like Muscle Beach is in the game, or my versions of them.
Yep.
Call it Redondo.
Next up is going to be Player's Choice. After that brick.
No one knows Redondo Beach. So.
I know. It is not popular.
Well, I wish we were playing with the tree in this game because I knew what my last square was going to be before we started.
Ooh. Are we talking already about the tree?
No.
No, we don't talk about the tree.
No.
So
What are you
chat,
doing? Sabotaging us.
So chat, I'm sorry, we're not talking about the tree right now. So Adam is out with 33 points, Christopher is out with 34, and Alice is out with 32. And nobody's talking about the tree.
So next up is a stone. I have no clue what you're all talking about with this tree business. So I don't know about the rest of you, but quarantine has given me plenty of time for reading lately. I'm usually an avid reader, but I've had a bit more than usual. Has anyone read anything good, whether fiction, nonfiction, otherwise?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have 3 books that I just ordered, and they're sitting on my porch. I was borrowing the famous Gothic novel Rebecca, and I was like halfway through it, and then I returned it, and I went out of town, and then I came back, and libraries are closed, so I had to buy a copy of it.
Aww.
All right, and after that, stone is a wood, which is great news for me. I recently read When She Sleeps by Bina Shah. which is I guess I would call it akin to The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. So futuristic dystopia. And it was not quite as hard to read as The Handmaid's Tale, which is one of my favorite novels, but still really, really gripping and really makes you think about the structure of society. So if you like a good sort of more thoughtful dystopia that's less about, bands of vagabonds or anything like that, this is a really interesting one, a really interesting society. So that was When She Sleeps.
Thoughtful dystopian,
thoughtful. Sorry, I was trying to think of a good way to put it. It's a dystopia that is very much character focused and about the structure of society, and not quite as driven by its sci-fi concepts and stuff. I'm a huge sci-fi fan. I do love concept-driven stuff, but it's just a more. It read very much like a classic in a good way. It just came out a couple of years ago. After that, wood is Player's Choice to end the deck.
I think I'm supposed to do this.
So I'm reading the following books. I'm reading The Design of Everyday Things.
Oh, that's a
by
nice
Don
one.
Norman. Yeah, it gives me good information
Very good.
good decisions that you have to keep in mind while you're building things. Hook, which is about compulsion loops and how people react to those compulsion loops. I'm reading Brain Rules, which is a couple of good ideas of how you put your mind into thinking. And my guilty book of the month is Justice League Dark, Volume 3.
Nice.
Nothing wrong with that.
Quite the variety.
But it's my guilty book.
All right, to start off the new deck, we have a stone.
Aw, Pete.
Yeah, that's not great.
So I just finished this fairly short book called Ghost Boys. It's, my wife's a teacher, and this is a fascinating book about someone who basically gets killed, a black child who gets killed by a police officer, turns into a ghost, and ends up making friends with the police officer's daughter. Yeah, it's pretty heavy, but it's good. It's good.
Yeah, I'm also reading The Hate You Give, which is a similar subject. So it's heavy reading, but it's really, really great. And there's a question about the root cellar.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, is it one? Oh, sorry, the chat is scrolling up. Is it one row and column for one coin, or so it is one coin per row and column that contains cottages you wish to feed. So if you had your cottages in one row and one column, you need to pay 2 coins to feed all of those cottages.
So, Amy said that.
After that, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Vlad.
Okay, no, you can tell the resource and I go after you.
Brick is following the stone.
Thank you. That is the call of the day.
I use reading as a pure escape now, so I tend to want lighter things. So I just reread the Murderbot series, which is a series of 4 novellas, because in 10 days the novel sequel, the full-length novel sequel comes out, and I'm so excited. I'm going to bury myself in it as soon as it hits.
Nice.
I haven't read those yet, but I've heard great things about them.
They're super entertaining, great character, light, sci-fi. I really enjoy them. So that's what I just finished reading again, though. But it was a reread, so I don't know if it counts.
Oh, that counts. I reread all the time.
Rereads count.
Emmy's saying that Ghost Boys is good, and Christopher is saying that he just finished Cirque by Madeline Miller.
That one's on my list.
And I have a question from Alice, who's asking, since we know there is an expansion coming for Tiny Towns, when you design a game, do you think about where the game will fit inside the core box?
Do I think about where the game will fit where?
The core box? It will fit inside the main box of the game?
Oh, the box. Oh.
Will the expansion fit?
Yes, I think about it, but I mean, I don't think a whole lot about the insert. Like when I started to design Tiny Towns, I wasn't envisioning what the insert would be, but I had expansion ideas before that. So my answer is kind of. Of course, I like when expansions fit inside the the core box. So I know Fortune fits perfectly well inside the main box. As we add expansions, I'm not sure if all of them will fit at the same time, but at least not with the insert. But I'm not sure. I can't say.
Yeah, I think if you get rid of the insert, like you can put a lot. Like I have my Dominion and like 6 expansions all in one box. Like
yeah, me too.
And we have a lot to
Player's Choice is after that brick, by the way, everyone. Player's Choice. Without the insert, you'll be able to fit quite a lot of stuff inside the Tiny Towns box. This is a pivotal moment here.
So Amy is asking, do you get any points for Root Cellar just for building it?
It does not score any points on its own. It gives you a coin, which is kind of like a point if you save it until the end and don't spend it.
Michael is saying that the best book I have read in a long time is 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton.
I don't know that one.
David is out with 36 points. We're starting to get scores. And by the way,
Nice.
David is joining us on Monday. He will be our guest for Monday.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, awesome.
Cool. All right, and we have a glass for the next call after Player's
That's
Choice.
what I just put down.
Yep, me too, Josh. Me too.
All right, cottages, you're not getting fed. Just got to use that coin.
Finish at 41 career high.
Yeah.
I like
Nice.
thinking about your plays at Tiny Towns as like a career high, career best.
Well, the moment you reach 40 on Tiny Towns for the first time, you actually feel like you achieve a certain degree of enlightenment.
Yes.
The next call is Brick, which is just, I don't even know what to say.
I was happy with that brick. Thank you.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm paying a coin to place a fountain. I just got a couple spaces left here.
All a week.
Well, the next one is Player's Choice.
Oh, perfect. Well,
so I'm going with stone, and I am hoping for a wood. That would be really good.
Okay, the
my
7.5
fiance.
Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle is described as Gosford Park meets Groundhog Day by way of Agatha Christie.
Ooh,
I'm so in for that. That sounds amazing.
that sounds great.
that sounds good.
That sounds go to Amazon and get it.
The next call is Glass, which is really bad news.
Come on.
That's
Yeah,
about
that's
as
really
angry as
bad
I've
news.
ever seen Josh get right there.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
that's.
got no room to maneuver. Josh doesn't get to complain about draws ever.
So we got Glass Brick, Player's Choice, and then?
And then Glass was the next one, Vlad, after Player's Choice.
Thank you.
And following that Glass is the one I needed, Wood. If this had just been switched, that would have been a pretty tidy score for me. My fiance and I love bookstores and books in general. And we ordered some books for curbside pickup from our favorite bookstore, which is
Nice.
an hour and 15 minutes away. So it'll be nice just to drive somewhere and then pick up a few new reads.
Right.
I used to know in the chat if anyone else has like bought board games or books or something like that from like a local business and done a curbside pickup, because I know my favorite bookstores are not doing that, but you can order like directly from them and it'll be shipped to you.
Mm-hmm. After that, Wood is Player's Choice. Is anyone still going in our stream here? You're still going, Josh?
I am still going, but it's basically next resource is going to be the final resource.
I am out.
And
After
let's
that Player's Choice, it's a Wood. Oh, no.
Because I'm going to take. I was a little worried because I had a wood still on my museum, and I was like, oh, I'm never going to get the advantage of that wood. So that will go on there, and now call a stone and make me very happy.
It's a wheat.
Well, okay, I have that coin that I just got from the museum, which is fine,
Good.
and
Wait.
I am out.
Luke has his board view set up. We know what that means.
Oh no,
You're
it's
out, Josh?
coming.
I'm
All right,
done.
so Dealer's Choice is next. If anyone's still going, you're doing a really good job.
Wow, Leslie got out with 43, I think, and Theodon with 44.
Okay.
Wow, that's wild. And then we have a wood.
Alice wants the question repeated. I was just asking if anyone has like a local business that they are able to support at this time by doing curbside pickup. I'm just wondering how many stores are doing it and how many people are taking advantage of that.
After that, wood is a glass for your final resource, and then of course, dealer's choice is the last resource of that run through the deck.
Ooh, I wish I was playing with the tree today.
If you are still going, that is very impressive. Vlad is going to put some random resources on the screen. Okay, so I'm going to tally up my score here, but Suzanne, do you want to?
Sorry.
I don't want to say mine out loud.
You don't have to. That's fine.
It was really bad. I'll show you here. No, I don't care. I think I have 21.
21's a good score.
Good.
Not bad.
You just have to beat 1 point. Actually, Ryan, your score of 1 point was surpassed yesterday by Todd. He got 0 points. So
Yeah, but he was trying to get 0
0.
points.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like he just said that because he was like, I'm going to get 0 points.
No, he was actually actively seeking to do that. It's
Yeah,
hard.
he set himself a challenge of building like all those buildings and scoring no points.
Is that like going nil in a trick-taking game?
Yeah. Something like that. Vlad, how did you do?
I'm not playing today. I'm still figuring out
Oh,
some
that's
things
right.
of the stream. Yeah.
Okay. Josh, how about you?
I'm still counting.
All right.
Wow.
Ryan, how'd you do?
I got 26 points today. My plan worked great, and then I didn't score very many points.
Luke?
29 points.
All right. I have 40.
Did that tavern pay off, or what's the deal there, buddy?
Yeah, I made 5 taverns, so that was worthwhile. And then I made 3 theaters for 13 points total.
Wow, with the lack of brick, you built that many taverns.
Yeah, I paid a lot of coins. I had no coins to my name at the end. So, Josh, do you have your score?
I do.
What'd you get? 46. That is your 7th victory?
My 7th victory.
Oh, Josh.
Wow. Nicely
I
done.
I got a theater that was worth a full 6 points.
Wow.
So to answer your question, Josh, David saying Books a Million is doing a curbside as well. Jessica Vectel is saying that she got Tiny Town's Fortune from Rainy Days Games in Oregon.
Cool.
And
I actually
Julie
got
saying
40.
that keep dealers with Ironwood. And Alice, no, that's it. Those are the comments.
Awesome.
That's great.
Well, thanks for playing, everyone. Suzanne, before we wrap up, do you want to tell everyone just where they can find your work?
Yeah.
Sure. They can listen to the Dice Tower podcast, where every other episode is hosted by myself and my podcast partner, Mandy Hutchinson. They can find me on email, 425suzanne@gmail.com or suzanne@dicetower.com. And I'm on Twitter. I'm at 425suzanne on Twitter, but I never recommend anybody follows me there. So take that.
I've been liking your Twitter, like how it started with like day 1 of like 30, and then it was like 2 of 30, and eventually it's just like day 18 of 30 question mark.
Yeah. It's never going to end.
I've been enjoying your quarantine updates.
You're very sweet. Thank you. But thank you so much for letting me play. I love Tiny. As Peter knows, I'm a big fan of this game, even though I don't do great in it. It really just hits a sweet spot for me in terms of game enjoyment. And I'm really glad I got to play with you all. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for joining us. And thanks to everyone who played in the chat. We'll be back next week. And I think we're doing a few space-based days next week. Is that right, Vlad?
Space-based on Friday.
Next Friday, we have a space-based game. So be ready for that.
Awesome.
Bring your formal space outfit.
Oh, wow, I don't have that.
Your finest astronaut suit.
Hold
All right,
on,
well,
Ryan's
thank
ready.
you for playing, everyone. And stay safe. Have a great weekend.
Okay, bye everyone. Thank you for
All
playing.
right, stay safe.